Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we have uh, the day we're back doing TSI, Toxic Survivor Island. And today we have teams of two that are or have been rivals in their respective series. Or people that I think would just clash a lot. First, we have Macho Man and Disco Kid from Punch Out, just because they're complete opposites. Then it got Heather Lashana, Ino and Sakura from Naruto, Teardrop and Eraser, Mr. Krabs and Plankton, Finn and Ice King, Ernie and Peter, Pete and Mickey, Silver and Paintbrush, Gumball and Rob, Sanji Zoro, Stanford and Bill, Pound and Beer Keg, VJ and Olive, Jake and Allie, and then Paul and Ash. So, let's get into it. So, basically, the first thing is France. The first thing is place is France. Basically, they have to be in an eating contest. And there are some characters that immediately passes. Zoro Sanji, Mr. Krabs and Plankton. And then next one up being Gumball and Rob, Peter and Ernie. And then finally, Teardrop and Eraser. Because Teardrop has been seen to have quite the appetite at times. So, now, next we go with people that would moderately do well in this challenge. Finn and Ice King, Silver and Paintbrush, Bill and Stanford, Pete and Mickey, Jake and Ashley, and Pound and Beer Keg. Now we're down to the bottom 5. And next team safe is Macho Man and Disco Kid. And next we have Heather Lashana, followed by Ash and Paul, because Ash has been shown to eat almost anything. And then down to VJ and Olive versus Ino and Sakura. And the last team to do it, I believe, VJ and Olive will just be able to beat out the ninjas. And so, this is going to Camp Wawanakwa, where they're going to have to find an immunity idol and bring it back to the person at the chill zone, who is Chris. So, next first team to do so wins. Team that comes in first place, Jake and Allie. Then Eraser and Teardrop. But Mr. Krabs and Plankton. VJ and Olive. Ash and Paul. Heather and Lashana. Stanford and Bill. Beer Keg and Pound. Candle and Paintbrush. No, Silver and Paintbrush. Finn and Ice King. Ernie and Peter. Now it's down to the final 4. Next up, Gumball and Rob. Bye-bye, Pete and Mickey. And then the last team to get out of Camp Wawanakwa. Drum roll, please. Sorry, Zoro and Sanji. This time around, Zoro just ended up getting lost, and Sanji had to go find him. And by the time they both got back, Macho Man and Disco Kid had already found their totem and was back to Chris. So, alright, this next one is going to be this Venture Camp. So basically, they're gonna have to find their way around a maze and whatnot. No, they're gonna have to get through an obstacle course, and last team to do it wins. First team doing it is Stanford and Bell. Next up, Paintbrush and Silver, Teardrop and Eraser, Macho Man and Disco Kid, Ash and Paul, VJ and Olive, Finn and Ice King, Jake and Allie, Robin Gumball, and we're down to the final five. Next is Heather and Lashana, Beer Keg and Pound. Next up is Mickey and Pete. And the last but not least, I'm sorry, Peter and Ernie scraping by. I am sorry, but there's just no way that Plankton's getting through the obstacle course. I'm so sorry, but it's not possible. But now we have our first 3 eliminations. And the next challenge is basically they have to basically confront their next. We're going to Gotham. Basically, this is a twist. The team that they have to outlast Batman. And basically, the last team to be found will be able to choose one team to immediately go home. Now start with some of the obvious picks. Let's go Macho Man, Pete and Mickey, Ernie and Peter. Next ones out are basically the regular old humans. Next up, Pound and Beer Keg, followed by Finn and Ice King, Teardrop and Eraser, then Paintbrush, and the Silver Spoon. They're out of the competition. And next goes Stanford and Bell. But I think here Stanford and Bell clutched this up this time around. And he has to choose out of these teams who is getting eliminated and getting 12th place. And I think that, so let's go with some of the characters that I think that they would save because they either liked or know that it would be easier to pick them off. Ernie and Peter, Muscle Man and Disco Kid, Pete and Mickey, Jake and Allie. But everybody here, I'm sorry. I'm going by 1-1 who they would save. Here, I'm sorry, Robin Gumball. Just by a twist of fate, you guys have gotten eliminated way too early. But let's continue going. Alright. Next up, Mario Kart. It's basically they have to drive Mario Kart from one chill zone to the other with directions. Now, let's see who does the best. Jake and Allie come in first place here just because, Allie is a gamer and Jake is somewhat good at giving instructions. Next up, Mickey and Pete, because Mickey has some experience with cars as well. And then last team making it easily, VJ and Olive. Alright. But now it's time for people that wouldn't do too terribly. Stanford and Bill, LeJean and Heather, Beer Keg and Pound. And then finally, Paul and Ash. We're down to the final 5. And now everybody here, I think there's 2 teams just fucking bomb this challenge. Disco Kid and Peter. The Boxers and then the Brawlers. And here, I'm sorry. This is where Peter and Ernie go. I mean, they had a good run for them. Like, look, they even broke their background fighting. That is just crazy. But this next challenge is a double elimination. Every odd-numbered team even odd-numbered teams are going to be competing. And basically, they can't lose. And one team here is going to be chosen at random sit out, and that is VJ and Olive. So that means they made it to the chill zone first because they get to skip. So, where this is going to be randomly. Ash and Paul, Teardrop and Eraser. Teardrop and Eraser wins this one. Alright guys, next up we have Heather and Lashana. Heather and Lashana versus Bill and Stanford. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, they were not taking an L this round. I'm sorry. Next, Fit a Nice King versus Macho Man Disco Kid, which they do easily. Pete and Mickey versus Jake and Allie. Yeah, Pete and Mickey are winning this one because they're two animals. If Pete's side alone would give them the win. And then next up we have Beer Keg go against Paintbrush. And here, I'm sorry, Candle and Paintbrush would win. And now the person who lasted longest against their opponent would win. And that would be Beer Keg and Pound, so they are also safe. Next challenge. Ash and Paul versus Heather and Lashana. Now, here Pokemon would be allowed, so Heather and Lashana would lose this. And then finally, Jake and Ashley versus Finn and Ice King. It's no doubt. Now, the final one, and this comes down to who has better teamwork, which is Heather and Lashana. That means Jake and Allie do, unfortunately, get out. But I think a lot of people coming in this season, yeah, no, it was not happening, okay? It was not. So, alright. But then it turned to this one's gonna be a double. The VJ and Olive, Punch Out, Name Insanity, Pokemon, and TSI are all gonna be. All you guys are gonna have to do multiple challenges and do a puzzle. We are going Outlaster from Roblox. Yes, they have to complete a puzzle and whatnot for doing challenges. So let's go start off with some of the best people at this. Boom. Danford and Bill, VJ and Olive, Heather Lashana. Alright. Now we're down to next team safe on the first ones are Silver and Paintbrush. So they are at the chill zone. And now it comes between Ash and Paul and Macho Man Disco Kid. But now, seeing it, yeah, it's kind of obvious there. And then next team to the chill zone is Mickey and Pete. Mickey's very nice. Then finally, Teardrop and Eraser. It'll be Pound and Beer Cake versus Fit and Ice King. I'm sorry. Fit and Ice King, neither of them are the smartest in the building, so they fortunately also fall. Because both these teams had a good amount of brawn, but not enough brains to back it up. So, you're getting close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are already at the halfway point, everyone. Wow. This next one is gonna be a shock. We're going to Revolution Island, where Raymond Season 2 runner-up is from. And basically, you have to beat somebody else, paired up randomly. The loser goes on to the chill zone. First pairing, Mickey and Pete, Stanford and Bill. And it's the partner events. I think Bill just loses just to make Stanford mad. Next, Teardrop and Eraser versus Pound and Beer Keg. Teardrop and Eraser are winning this, okay? Alright, next up, we got VJ and Olive versus Paul and Nash. VJ and Olive are winning that. Heather and Shauna versus Silver and Paintbrush. Yeah. But now it is Stanley versus Stanley and Bill versus Pound and Beer Keg. Yeah, no, they absolutely win. Ash and Paul versus Silver and Paintbrush. Same here, and let's see which team falls first. And that team is Ash and Paul. Cause this is more of a push each other off kind of match and not a all-out fight. And now we're down to the final 7. Wow. This season's going by pretty fast. Good bit of people here have been made it through just by sheer luck. So, after this, everybody makes will be into the alumni. Now, basically, what all they have to do they'll have to defeat 10 badniks and get to the and then basically win. Next first person to do so starts Beer Keg and Pound, followed just closely by Teardrop and Eraser. Then Paintbrush and Silver Spoon. Because Bill's not wanting to do anything, so Stanford has to literally drag Bill. Which gives time for Mickey and Pete and Heather and LaShawna. The VJ and Olive finally get done. It's just a mad dash between them and Stanford. And I'm sorry, Stanford and Bill. Yeah, you guys were not winning this, but welcome everyone to the alumni. Pound and Beer Keg, Teardrop and Eraser, Silver Spoon and Paintbrush, Pete and Mickey, Heather and LaShawna, and VJ and Olive. They had to come over each other in everything, which I don't think some others could not. So, next challenge is art. Well, singing. They go into My Little Pony, where Applejack is from. So, first up, they gotta show off inner artistic talent. And 3 teams automatically pass. Paintbrush, Silver Spoon, Mickey and Pete, and then finally Olive and VJ. Those 3 immediately pass. Now, down to Pound and Beer Keg, Teardrop and Eraser, and then finally LaShawna and Heather. LaShawna and Heather probably just squeaked by. Pound and Beer Keg probably get done at the same time as Teardrop and Eraser. So here's a mad dash, but Beer Keg is not built for speed. So, he is eliminated. And it's a surprising turn of events. Alright, next challenge. is. Give me a second. We're going to Phineas and Ferb dimension, and you have to help Baljeet with his homework. Ellen and Lashana, Pete and Mickey, and then finally VJ and Olive would be doing the best at it. And then here, it'll be a close call, but I think Paintbrush and Silver win this one because Teardrop and Racer, neither are known for their smarts. So we're down to the final 4, people. But next one is Amaze. First team, Amaze from GTA. They gotta get through the bank maze. So Pete and Mickey and Candle and Silver, of course, make it far. Of course, make it there first. And then it's Mad Dash between VJ and Olive and Heather and Lashana. Heather and Lashana win, and then VJ and Olive are eliminated. Now it's time for the final 3. So, everything's gonna win. Basically, they just have to run to the chill zone as fast as possible. Third place, Pete and Mickey. Because where they would be good at something like this, but Pete just is not fast enough. He's built more for strength and bulk than speed. So, and then finally it's Silver and Paintbrush versus Heather and Lashana. And here I think Heather and Lashana come in a good second. Then Silver and Paintbrush. I just think they would just win. Just because of Silver's powers and Paintbrush's determination to win. But this is only my opinion. Leave your opinion down below. And I'll see y'all next time. Later. Come on, mate.